let's get started with Unity. This is the Express, just for you guys to remind yourselves of the processes. While this is loading, I'm going to make sure that I've downloaded and have my Unity package ready somewhere, and I know where it is, so it might be in the downloads folder or the desktop. First thing is importing the package. There it is. Import. Second thing I'm going to do once this importing has completed is make sure first of all there's no errors down here. There shouldn't be with this version and this package that I will link in the description of the video. But the first thing we're going to do is insert a terrain, and if we remember, the first things that we need to do when we put a terrain in are, let's do it instead of talking, 3D object, adding a terrain. We are going to click the terrain settings. We're going to alter the width to something a little smaller, 200 by 200. Take note of the terrain height, but don't change that. Go to the this tool is called the paint terrain. Set the height. We're going to set it to half of the height. If you remember, it was, I'm going to click flatten. My terrain's hasn't disappeared, it's just gone up in that space. Remember, if you zoom out, that space now from here was 600, so we're 300 up, and now we've got 300 above as well. Next step is, usually I put on some textures, create a layer from the assets that we imported. I use the muddy rock as the first one. I use grass hill as the second. Put some grass around. That's not coming out strong enough, turn the opacity and the brush size up a bit. And then I do some raising and lowering. So we might make a little bit of a river that goes through there. Change the brush to be a bit more rough around this area over here. Then next step is I might just colour the inside of this actually to be more sandy. Oops, click on the sand, paint this on the inside of the sand, and give that a bit of sand in there too. Now next step is painting trees on. Edit trees, add trees, little circle, put some conifers in. Test, too big, okay, I'm going to take them off. I will resize them down a little bit. I'll also take the tree density down a bit. It's a bit better. Might put them around the green sections. Too much. That'll do. Next is the grass details. So I'll put some grass details along this patch of green here. So that is the fourth tool, paint details. Edit grass texture, little circle again. One of these two assets are the ones that work. Click on the first one, paint, and if it's coming out in clumps, it's probably because your opacity or target strength is way too high. Just going to make sure that that is not, it's always down near close to zero almost. And then when we click, if I can't see, it's because I'm zoomed out too far. You've got to be zoomed in at a certain level for the grass to appear. So the grass is on now. I'll hold shift and just make it a little bit more thinner as well. Last thing is, in terms of the terrain, is putting the water in. So I'll just get in position. First, I'll go to my standard assets, find the environment folder, water folder, water 4, I like the best, and look for the prefabs folder. and I'll just drag in the advanced water. It's gone into a funny position, so I'll zoom out a bit and I'll use the moving tool and drag it on the axes only, not from the middle, otherwise I don't know where it's going. It's currently too small for this area. So, whoops, one of those tiles actually moved. Undo that. I'm going to make sure that I'm moving the whole thing, not one of the 4 tiles. So at the moment it doesn't quite fill in this area down here, so I'll put it towards the center because I've got a bit of space on this side, a bit of space on that side, and I will use the scale tool just to bring it out a bit. There's a bit of space over here too, so actually I'll make it wider so it fills in that middle section and then shove it into the middle. Alright, that's about, looks good to me. Maybe a little bit over this way. And now to test, I'll put my first person controller in, so that's under characters, first person, prefabs, drag him in where the grass was, and push play. There's my grass, there's my water, there's my trees, there's my hills, and there's my little pond over here as well. Done. Express basics.